Hey folks, Matt from RarelyTheImage.com. Got a new hard drive. And I don't know, if you're like me and you shoot a lot, you've probably got a lot of hard drives kicking around. I've mentioned in past videos what I've done for storage. These aren't what I would use for a working drive, but what I've done for storage drives. In other words, I'll work off of my SSDs. Once I'm done with that, I move the work, the video, the photos over to a storage drive. Now the reason for the SSDs is it speeds up the whole process. So whether you're working in Photoshop, whether you're working especially in video in Premiere or one of the other video softwares, it's going to work a lot faster if you're working from and exporting to an SSD drive. But once that's done and you're not working on them anymore, where are you going to save them? You don't want to use up your SSD storage space because that comes at a premium. It's more expensive. Well, I've typically used Western Digital, and this is the Western Digital My Passport. I've had a lot of luck with these. I've been using the Western Digital MyBook drives. I've got 4 or 6 of them over there. I've got a couple of 3s and a couple of 4 terabyte drives. But even still, they fill up. I typically need at least 1 new drive a year. Lately, with more projects coming on board, I'm probably going to need 2 drives a year. And then, if you want to do the old Navy SEAL cliche, what's the better thing? Not a cliche, but the old Navy SEAL axiom of 2 is 1 and 1 is none. I had to think about that for a minute. 2 is 1 and 1 is none. What that basically means is if you have 1 and it fails, you're screwed. You got nothing. If you have 2 and 1 fails, you're good to go. You still got 1. So obviously you can see how the SEALs would know. I mean, if you're in combat, your gun fails, you're screwed. But if you got a backup, it'll save your life, right? Well, same thing, just not in such dire situations with storage drives. In other words, if it's critical information and you don't want to lose it, the best insurance you can do is to keep it backed up on 2 drives. So you can twin a pair of drives. So you should have a secondary drive that has the exact same information on it as the first one. And so if you keep drives in pairs, then if one fails, you're not sweating it because you know all that information is on the other drive. Now, I must admit, I don't always do this because I don't think I've ever lost a video online or on YouTube or anything. So that's kind of like a secondary backup now. But I do like to keep everything on at least 1 drive. What I've moved to now from the MyBook drives is this. Let me open this up here for you. This is a newer drive. This is My Passport. And they were more expensive than the MyBook drives because they're smaller, but the prices dropped. They were very close in price. I got this guy. This is a 4 terabyte My Passport drive, and I got this guy for $130. I think it was on sale for. I'm going to put a link below on Amazon for you. You can check out the user reviews, which are very good. You can check out the question and answers and the best price, because these were $140, and then they moved down to $130, and that's when I snatched it up. And who knows, with Black Friday coming up, you may get it even cheaper. Or just, sit on the sale and watch it. So we've got some good packaging. It's well packaged. We got a little information pamphlet. And there's the drive. This is one of the reasons I wanted to go to this drive, and I'll explain that more in a second. Comes with your USB 3 cable. You can see it's blue in there. I'll show you that. So that's how you know you got USB 3. You can see, I don't know if you should be able to see in there that it's blue instead of white. So if you've got the blue in the little tab inside the USB connection is blue, USB 3, and it's faster than the old one. So the reason I was really tickled with these drives is they're a lot smaller. This is kind of that electrostatic shrink wrap. This is a nice looking little drive, actually. The fit and finish on here is sexier than the MyBook drives. But look how tiny that is. I mean, you could stick it in your pocket quite easily, very easily. It'll probably even go in your pants pocket. It's pretty small, size of my hand. Smaller than my hand. But the beauty of these is, unlike the MyBook drives, I think that's what they were, MyBooks, the Western Digital, the bigger drives, those have a separate power plug to plug in, which can be an advantage because especially if you don't want to tax your computer, say you got a smaller power supply and you don't want to be running everything off of the power supply in your computer, you could see that as an advantage. For me, this is very small. Runs off only a USB drive, so it's going to power itself off your computer. So this is great if you want portability and the ability to not have to worry about moving power plugs. If you're like me and you got a big power bar with tons of plugs and cords running everywhere, you don't want to be unplugging that all the time. Whereas now I can just take this, move it over to my laptop, plug it in, and then transfer files back and forth because I got 2 or 3 laptops and a few desktops. So that makes it very portable. But it's still 4 terabytes. So it's a very small, very portable 4 terabyte drive. And you could even like the portability of this for taking some people store stuff off site for additional security. So really nice. And as I said, I think the MyBooks, when I checked for a 4 terabyte drive, were around 116, 117, 120, somewhere in there. I'll put the link to the MyBooks below too. You can check them both out. But I really liked the size and the form factor. And short of this one not performing as well as my other Western Digitals have, which I've had fantastic luck with Western Digital over the years. I don't even consider Seagate or anybody else because I've just had such good luck with Western Digital. Why mess with a good thing? So with this little guy though, I think this is going to be my new go-to because it keeps it very small and compact and no need for power plugs. So all you got to do is have a USB 3 cord and you can go straight into anything that has a USB connection, especially if it's got a USB 3 connection, then you're going to be super fast transfer speeds. So I'm pretty tickled with these. If any of you guys already have one of these and have any user feedback, I'd be glad to hear it in the comments below. Let us know what you think. I'll be coming back with a user review for you, telling you what I think after I've been using it for a while and how it compares to my the other style drives I have, which I've been using lots of, and that was the MyBook, the big ones with the power plugs. So I'll be back with those. Again, I'll put the link to Amazon down below. You can check out the best price, see if you can get a deal on it, and see all the user reviews. It's very highly rated. If you have any questions, leave those below. I'll see if I can get them answered. If you have any user feedback, if you have one of these yourself, let me know in the comments below. I'd like to hear your little user review, your experiences. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon here at artoftheimage.com.